What happens when a network needs a cheap drama fast and decides to build a crime show far away from where it is meant to be set? Out of scheduling pressure, cost-cutting, and international partnerships came a late-night series built around a private investigator operating in a sun-soaked resort setting. So how did this late-night show come together? Let's find out. This is the history of Sweating Bullets, also known as Tropical Heat.
It blows right back to me.
The idea for the show came from Canadian writer Sam Egan. He developed it as a late-night action-adventure series that blended crime drama with light-hearted tropical escapism. At its core, the concept focused on a private investigator operating outside rigid systems and formal authority. The character was written as relaxed and unconventional. The goal was to create a crime series that didn't rely on heavy mythology or a dense backstory, but instead delivered self-contained stories that viewers could drop into at any moment. From that concept came Nick Slaughter. He was written as a former DEA agent who walked away from big city law enforcement and relocated to the fictional resort town of Key Maria. Visually, the character was defined by an informal appearance, including his ponytail and Hawaiian shirts, reinforcing the show's laid-back tone. Nick was paired with Sylvie Gerard, a former travel agent who became his business partner. Their pairing was intentional. Nick relied on instinct, humor, and improvisation, often bending the rules, while Sylvie brought discipline, planning, and efficiency. Their dynamic shaped the tone of the series, which balanced the action with banter and self-awareness. The setup was described at the time as Magnum PI meets Moonlighting, produced on a smaller budget and with an intentional campy lean. Rob Stewart was cast as Nick Slaughter at a point when he was still relatively unknown. He accepted the role as a lead opportunity despite reservations about the material at the time. Carolyn Dunn was cast as Sylvie Gerard. John David Bland joined the original cast in the first season as Ian Stewart, Nick's friend and regular supporting presence. Pedro Armendariz Jr. was cast as Lieutenant Carrillo, the local police chief, during the first season. The show also featured several guest appearances. Most notably, Rachel Weisz appeared in her early career in the season 3 episode His Pal Joey. Other actors of that period included Geraint Wyn Davis, who made a brief guest star appearance across the series. The series premiered in 1991 on CBS as part of the network's late-night Crime Time After Primetime block. It also aired on global television in Canada. Its debut performed better than expected for the time period. Early Nielsen numbers showed the premiere winning its slot for CBS, briefly placing as high as second amongst programs airing that hour. The network viewed this as a strong start for a low-cost late-night experiment, though it did not translate into a broader breakout. Critical response was mixed to negative. Several critics described the series as thin on originality and heavy on visual appeal. They frequently pointed to the emphasis on scenery and the attractive cast members over complex writing or character depth. Other critics acknowledged that the series was not aiming for prestige. They noted the banter between the leads and the self-aware tone, describing it as an easy watch rather than a serious drama. Audience response was much better than the critical reaction. The series built a modest but consistent audience, particularly among late-night viewers and in international markets. While it never became a major hit, its ratings were stable enough for CBS to keep it on rotation. The music for the series was designed to match its tropical setting and light tone. The main theme song was titled Any Way the Wind Blows. It was written and composed by Fred Mollin and Larry Mollin and performed by reggae singer Errol Blackwood. The song opened each episode and immediately established the show's beachside atmosphere through its relaxed rhythm and island style. Fred Mollin also served as the primary composer for the series score. His background music supported both lighter moments and the action scenes, often using tropical percussion, guitar, and upbeat motifs rather than traditional hard crime scoring. The music was used to keep episodes moving quickly and to underline the contrast between danger and the relaxed resort environment. The theme song became closely associated with the series and remained one of its most recognizable elements throughout its run. Although the series was set in the Florida Keys, it was filmed entirely outside of the United States. The production moved across 3 countries over its run, driven by international co-production arrangements and cost requirements. The first season was filmed in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Visual continuity issues occasionally popped up, including mountainous backdrops that didn't resemble Florida geography. For the second season, the production relocated to Israel, with filming taking place in and around Tel Aviv and the resort city of Eilat. It was selected for its warm climate and coastline, and the production was publicly promoted as being filmed on location there. As the show progressed and the production shifted between countries, the supporting cast changed. John David Blant left during the second year, and his character Ian Stewart was written out. Ian Tracy joined the show as Spider Gavin after Blant's departure. Ari Soko Ram was cast as Sergeant Gregory in later episodes. The third season moved the production again, this time to South Africa. Pretoria served as the main production base, but because it was landlocked, additional filming took place in Mauritius to provide beach exteriors. As local involvement increased, South African producer Bill Venter received a co-producer credit on later episodes. Behind the camera, the tone of the show evolved during the production. Rob Stewart later stated that the early scripts were too macho and he was uncomfortable playing the character, so he began delivering lines with irony and humor. He also encouraged the writers to make Nick more self-mocking. Over time, the producers adjusted the character, turning Nick into a more comedic underdog who was often knocked around before coming out on top. By 1993, CBS decided to eliminate the Crime Time after primetime lineup. The turning point came when CBS signed David Letterman to host a new late-night talk show. With that, the low-cost crime dramas were no longer needed, and CBS dropped the block to clear the schedule. For years, the series was only available through reruns and scattered home recordings. When Tango Entertainment released the complete series on DVD, the set included all 66 episodes across 9 discs. While fans were pleased to finally have the full run available, the release drew some criticism for its compressed video quality and lack of bonus features. In 2021, Mill Creek Entertainment reissued the complete series on DVD. This release made the show available again after a period of being out of print, but again, it didn't include any remastering or any additional extras. In later years, the series has also appeared intermittently on streaming platforms, allowing new viewers to discover it long after its original run. For fans who want to add the series to their collection, I've added a link in the description below, and there should be a card popping up on screen to make it easy to check it out. For years, the show existed mainly as a memory for late-night viewers and through reruns under the Tropical Heat title. Outside the United States and Canada, the story was very different. In Serbia, the show became a cultural phenomenon. State television aired constant reruns at a time when the country was dealing with sanctions, economic collapse, and political unrest. The bright setting, simple stories, and resilient lead offered an escape that audiences really embraced. Nick Slaughter's character was adopted as an ironic symbol of perseverance. During anti-government protests at the time, students and demonstrators chanted the slogan, "Nick Slaughter for President." His image appeared on signs, posters, and cartoons, turning a forgotten television detective into an unlikely pop culture figure tied to optimism and resistance. Neither the cast nor the creators were aware of this following until years later. In 2008, Rob Stewart discovered a large Serbian fan community online, led to the documentary Slaughter Nick for President in 2012. The film followed Stewart's trip to Serbia, where he was greeted as a cult figure and confronted the unexpected impact overall he had never taken seriously at the time. The documentary renewed interest in the series and cemented its reputation as one of television's most unusual legacy stories.
Right back to me.
In the end, the show came together because everything around it forced it to. Network pressure, international deals, shifting locations, and a lead actor who refused to play it straight shaped something that was never polished, never prestigious, but oddly resilient. It adapted and kept going long after most people expected it to disappear. That's why it lasted, and that's why it's still remembered today. But we're not done yet. Next time, we dive into a proper classic. Until then, why don't you check out our previous video on The Pretender? Thanks for watching, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.